and we'll walk through setting up your Zoom account using settings to make keep yourself safe, have your Zoom experience hopefully go better. And that's our end goal, is to make this a really kind of a fun thing to walk through and utilize to really grow your business. So let's kind of keep zipping through here. For those of you guys that do not know me, my name is Eric Eltzholtz. I am a marketing technology director for a company called West. West is the acronym for Williston Enterprise Solution Technologies. West handles all the technology, marketing tools, apps, and back-end components for Williston Financial Group's 6 companies, of which WFG National Title is one of them. I'm actually contracted to work in the Inland Empire as their marketing technology director, and they liked what I said and wanted me to bring this into you. So we're in a new time right now. There is lots of stuff going on with this stay-at-home social distancing. I know there's a lot of talk. They're going to end it. They're going to continue it. Lots of uncertainty. What is not uncertain are the things that we do have the power to control. And one of those is to start implementing tools that we can utilize to grow our business. Your number one asset in the real estate industry is people, and it's required to stay in touch and maintain connectivity and contact with your sphere. So one of the ways that we're doing that, and you're on the meeting right now, is by utilizing the Zoom meeting platform. Now there's other platforms. Google has Meet, Microsoft has Teams, so there's other platforms. This one's, I like this one for really 3 easy to tag reasons. 1, you can get a free account, so it doesn't cost you anything to set up your own free Zoom meeting account, okay? 2, it's easy to use. I mean, you can literally launch a Zoom meeting, make it, set it up, schedule the meeting, send the invite to your contacts. You can launch a meeting on the fly immediately and email the invite to your contacts to have them join you. So it's very simple to use. And as we've talked before in some of the previous workshops, utilizing video is tremendously effective because you're dealing at a different level with people, right? So one of the things that I noted in my Monday session is that information that you deliver via video, or that is delivered via video, is retained at a much higher rate. So that's one of the important things. You get to use that tool for free. So let's kind of keep walking through this. I'm going to make this really simple. I'm going to walk you guys through. Hopefully at this point, you guys all have a free Zoom account. If you needed to do the paid version, you could certainly do that. But I'm going to tell you, as long as you keep your Zoom meetings to a maximum of 40 minutes, you can actually get a free account. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not a free trial. It's literally a free account. You get your own Zoom account. You can launch your own meetings. And as long as you keep them within that 40-minute window, it works great. By the way, the other part of that is you do 40 minutes, but you also have a maximum of 100 people. Not a lot of people that I know that require more than 100 seats in a meeting. So some great options there. If you want this meeting, if you just text the word Zoom as part of the message, and you'll send that text message to that phone number that's displayed there, 909-757-0900. I'll actually send you back the content from this presentation, the walkthrough, along with the video recording, okay? So hopefully you'll be able to walk through and set this up. If you can right now, what I would love for you guys to do is, if you can, if you're on your phone or a tablet and you have your computer accessible right now, 2 things. Let's go either set up a Zoom meeting, or set up a Zoom account, or if you've already set up a Zoom account, we'll get through this very quickly. And at that point, you can go work with me and we'll walk through optimizing your Zoom account, okay? So here's what you're gonna need if you haven't set up a Zoom account already. You're gonna go to zoom.us Okay. You're going to need your name and a password and your photo, and we can go from there. By the way, I did want to give you this notice. It's not showing anymore, by the way, when you sign up with an account. But the newest versions, as a matter of fact, Zoom just did a new release this morning. And so if you've launched into your account, you probably noticed that it had an update notification in it. So a lot of people, there's been a lot of content in the news about security issues. Um, I think people have over worried this, honestly. You're not dealing in state secrets. You're not, you're not transferring any top secret blueprints to a Mach 5 spy plane or anything like that, or intercontinental ballistic missiles. So literally, you're going to use the same security measures that you're going to use on a regular day-to-day basis. You're not going to be, talking about social security numbers in this environment. You're not going to be sending wiring instructions through a Zoom meeting. You're going to do that through your apps and your escrow and title channels. So all the companies have security measures in place. You're going to continue to follow those same security measures. So just a quick note, I would utilize any of these platforms. I wouldn't worry about it too much. They continue to update accounts with additional content, additional security measures that they implement in place. Again, this is just a quick note that Zoom is watching out for you and they want to take care of you. So again, if you guys already have a Zoom account and you've set it up, hang with me because this is going to take about 4 minutes and we'll run through this very quickly. Just setting up the account. For those of you guys that don't have the account right now, this is literally a step-by-step walkthrough to go grab your account. So one, you're going to go to zoom.us. Okay. So right here, zoom.us, and you're going to click the sign up for free. If you need to look at other plans and pricing, because maybe you need to go longer than a 40-minute window, you can certainly do that. The next plan from free is $14.99 a month. Okay. Let's keep moving on this though and walk through this. Okay. So once you click sign up for free, it's going to take you to this screen. You're going to enter in your email address and click the sign up button. Okay, it's going to email you a sign up link to your email client, whatever email address you put in there. So go ahead and go to your email at that point. You're going to look for the message that came from Zoom. And when you open it, you will have this activate account button that shows up in the email. So go ahead and click that. Okay. Once you're in the email, now you're back into Zoom's protected sphere. So just as a side note here, I wanted you guys to see this. If you look at the address when you're in here, you're going to see that you're in a locked environment. So look for the lock, right? That's called an SSL website. So it's a secure socket layer. Banks utilize that technology. So you're in their secure environment. You're going to put in your first name, your last name. You're going to fill in a password. You're going to confirm a password. As you're going through the process, it will look something like this. Do me a favor, because I work with people on a regular basis. Use a password that you use on a regular basis. Use a password app to secure your passwords. Just be sure that you remember the password because you will need that when you're installing this on your mobile device as well. Okay. So the next screen, this one you can take it, you can leave it. This is a take it or leave it issue. They're just trying to grow their business. So they're saying, hey, invite some colleagues. You can put a couple of names in there and hit submit, or you can skip the step. My advice, skip the step. Okay. At this point, go to my account. You're going to click that button. Once you're in here, you're going to be in your profile settings. And at this point, the number one thing that you guys need to do is upload your photo. I'm going to stop the share real quick and let's look at our field of people in here. And I noticed that some of you on here are showing video. Some of you are not showing video. If you're not showing video, you're looking at a name or you're looking at a black screen. Okay. So by uploading your photo, let me show you. If I stop my video right now, you've uploaded your photo. Now you have your professional photo in place there. So I see a couple of you guys have already done this, and that's what you're showing me is your professional photos. When you start your video again, it gives you the ability of coming back, right? It's just a better experience for your users. It just is a nicer appearance, and you'll have the perception that you'll be operating in a more professional environment, in my opinion, okay? Let's keep running through these notes here. So you're going to click change your photo at this point. Okay, you're going to say that you want to upload a photo. You'll navigate to wherever that photo is stored on your device. You'll upload the photo. It's going to bring it into the photo cropper. At this point, when you select the photo and you're looking at the photo, you will be able to move this box around so that you can highlight. Once you want to highlight, you can open it up, you can make it wider, you can make it longer, right? So you can set those settings in there until you get the finished product, which is what you want to have as your cropped image. And from there, you can click save, okay? So that's really easy to set up a free Zoom account. Okay, we are in day 39 of social distancing, stay-at-home social distancing. We're now 39 days into this. At this point, do me a favor. If you're going to use video or you want to play around with it, if you want to connect with friends, family, clients, prospects, spheres, go set up a free Zoom account, okay? Let's kind of keep walking through this really quick, and we're going to talk about some ideas and ways that you can utilize this. I want to show you a couple of controls. Go ahead and share your screen with me. We can take a look at those listings you were talking about. Okay, so I'm actually doing this as part of a presentation to show you guys how you can actually give control back and forth on a Zoom conference call between you and other participants on the call. So right now you're looking at my PowerPoint presentation on my computer. I actually can see the PowerPoint presentation, but I can see my desktop around that. I can also see additional controls on the side that right now you can't see, but right, you can, I see who's the participants on the call. I have my toolbar at the bottom. Right now, what I want to do is I want to walk you through the ability to share your screen with another user. So someone on here, very quickly, if you can, I've stopped the share. I want you guys to all do this. Go out to your device. If you're on a desktop or a laptop, move your mouse so that your toolbar shows up. Your toolbar might be on the top. It might be on the bottom. Okay. You can move your toolbar around when you're screen sharing. But I'd like you guys to move that around. That's where you can unmute and mute yourself. Also start and stop video. And if you look right in the middle, there should be a green box with an up arrow out of it that says share screen or start share. Okay, so do me a favor, if you can, click on that. Someone really quickly click on that box. And if you've got something up on your browser that you can share, go ahead and practice sharing that right now. And if you guys all try and do it if you can. And the first one that gets up there and shares, okay, so there we go. Excellent. That looks like a great deal in Paris, California right there. $269.9 with RV parking, right? So again, great way to share, be able to share content with your client. So what I did in that video is I wanted to show you guys that you can actually share content with your clients and let them talk with you and converse with you about things that they're looking for. So I'm going to grab the share back from you again. And by the way, as the host, one of the options that we'll go look at is the ability to share different things. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, right? So you can actually, and I think this is something that you're going to utilize past social distancing. Okay. I've talked with many different brokers about this. I've talked with agents about this. Utilizing these tools today and practicing the use of Zoom conferencing as we're going forward from today on, you will be amazed at how much time, energy, gas, less carbon monoxide emissions. I mean, you name it. There is nothing like, there is so many different things that you will be able to utilize and gain by using Zoom meetings to do business. So, okay, so Randy's now popped in here and has started sharing. So, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you're going to use this. Again, I can't say this enough. If you had to drive someplace to meet with a client and then drive to another location and drive to a third location and a fourth and a fifth, imagine scheduling Zoom meetings with your clients now where you're either doing a virtual preview of a property before you determine whether you're going to go there, or you schedule a preview of properties that your client's interested in, right? So that's another option. And imagine doing that, how much time you're going to save. If it was 30 minutes location between each one of your, right? Let's say you're just going to one location. You drove 30 minutes there and you drove 30 minutes back, and now you don't have to drive there anymore. You just added an hour into your daily schedule. So most of our work week is an 8-hour day, right? You just increased your work schedule or your work opportunity by literally 1/8. Any chance you can show us how we would do a virtual open house using Zoom? Yes, Janice, but not today. We're going to just be setting up Zoom accounts. That's actually going to be, we're going to be doing a 24 open house tomorrow at 10 and 2. And we're going to be doing, using Lumen 5 to create virtual showings on Friday from 10 to 2. Also, I'm just going to pop in real quick. Next week, I'm working on next week's schedule. We're going to try and have them, instead of being an hour-long workshop, we're going to squeeze them down into 30-minute segments. We're going to mix them up, and we're going to have tidbits. So instead of having a whole presentation on one product or a bunch of different products, we'll have a 30-minute workshop on how to do a specific thing with some of the different tools that we've been talking about, okay? So we'll talk to you about how to set up a pan in and pan out video on Lumen 5, something like that. And we'll do it in a 30-minute window, okay? So thank you for asking for that, though. So let's keep moving forward here. I'm going to show you some other ideas on this, and then we'll actually go into our Zoom accounts and look at optimizing the account once you've set them up. So again, a virtual walkthrough of a property. That's a pretty common one that you guys will be doing and can be doing. By the way, hopefully you guys are actually doing business right now. So I had one of my compatriots in another marketplace was asking, do they know of anybody that's actually closed a deal right now during social distancing? And several of us said, yes, we know multiple people that are not only taking listings using Zoom meeting technology, right? You're working face-to-face with your clients. What do they want? What's their expectations? What's particular about their house, right? Again, if your client is on their phone right now and they log into that Zoom meeting, your client could actually walk you through their house while you're on a Zoom meeting call with them, and they can show you things about their house as you're working with them on listing their home for sale in the MLS. So it's a very unique tool. You didn't have to be standing in the same room, and you can have a discussion with them while they're presenting their house to you. You can look at unique features. You can look at things that might be issues that you get to talk to them about. hey, you might want to update this. Here's a list of contractors. What's your budget? You know, you guys have your conversations that you would have with your clients on this. Again, one of the things that I love about all of this is right now I'm presenting content to you, but you guys can see what I'm looking at, and I can see your faces as well if you're showing them, right? By the way, you're probably never going to get on a Zoom call where your Zoom client doesn't have their video turned on. That's the whole reason behind this, is that you're interacting with your video content, right? Right now, you guys are listening to me for the most part, and so you're not really showing your face. You didn't have a reason to. But on a one-on-one relationship with your client, you're going to be working in this environment right here. So again, it's a really powerful way to connect with your clients. Again, real brief video, me pretending to be a buyer client. Megan Ferguson at WFG National Title pretending to be a realtor, showing me a property. You guys, by the way, have a ton of different tools out there.
Awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I love those.
So to make virtual tours from your properties, okay? And we talked about this in some of the other content. You have the ability to actually create virtual tours using different programs. One of those being that Lumen 5 program that we're going to be talking about on Friday. Okay. It's free. It's very robust. It lets you create a bunch of different content. It lets you create content from slide images, single non-moving images, and video, and any combination. I have a question here. Is it possible to record the conversation? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just to let you know, I'm recording this right now. So that conversation is part of the record that will be on there. Okay. Also, when you record your meetings, when your meeting ends, it also records the chat conversations as well. So if you're having a chat conversation, you would have that interaction with your client to be able to remember that. Mary, in your account, there are options, the Zoom client meetings, controller for Zoom rooms. Do we download from Google Play or download from Zoom or both? Okay, so you're actually, the Zoom client is actually a download from, it'll probably come from Zoom when you set up your account, but you can go get the Zoom meeting app from either Google Play or the App Store if you're iOS. Okay, so either one of those, or you can get it right from their website. Great question. Okay, and by the way, again, I have it. It works on any phone device. You can use it on a computer. You can use it on a tablet. So it works on everything. Okay, and your clients, again, what I love about this is your clients didn't necessarily need to go install this, pre-install it. When they click on the link, it's going to ask them if they don't have that already. The link will actually have them install the Zoom browser, the Zoom client on their device. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. Let's keep moving on. One of the other things that I love about Zoom meetings, and I'm just going to roll some ideas out for you, is that you can use a Zoom meeting not only just between yourself and your client, but think about bringing other members of the transaction in. So let's say you're working with a buyer. How about you, your buyer, and their lender, right? How about you, your seller, and a contractor that's going to do some upgrades to the property so that you guys are all on the same page. You're having the same discussion, right? Again, you're working with a seller. What if there's an issue with title? Maybe you need to bring the seller and the title rep, or a buyer and have the title rep or escrow come in as part of the conversation. There's a lot of options to be able to use this, in addition to just the regular way that we think about, which is to literally have it be a buyer interaction or a seller interaction. You can incorporate other people into this mix as well. So there's a lot of opportunity here to grow your business, do better business. And again, I can't say this enough. This is technology that you can implement right today. You can start using it now, and it will work as we go forward. So you're going to continue to be able to use this technology to better your business from here on out. So I want you to just keep that, just put that into your mindset that this is not just a tool for today, because at some point we will be back to business as normal. We'll be back to doing a meeting with, you'll have a face-to-face. You'll be scheduling this stuff out, right? Someone says, my son has an account that he pays for. Can I also use his account? You can, but it's going to have his photo on it. Why not just go get your own free account? There's no benefit. By the way, there's no benefit to having a paid account other than needing to have a meeting that's longer than 40 minutes. Okay? If you can keep your meetings under 40 minutes, there is no tool in here that I have. And by the way, I have a paid account. There's no tool in here that you don't get on the free version. Okay? So again, I like three things. I'm a big fan of free. I'm a really big fan of easy, and I'm a big fan of effective. And this hits all three of those points. So really, really good tool, really fun to use, really easy to use. So, okay, let's keep moving on here. Again, that's just an idea that you guys can roll out into your business to grow your business and do better business. And again, I think this will last a lot longer than just now. Okay. Someone just popped into a question. Could you have a 40-minute meeting, end it, and restart a new meeting to continue? Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't even matter if the same people are on it. So yes, you can. It just limits that 40-minute window. Okay. So it's kind of a bummer to have to end it, but yeah, if you needed to do that, you could. And the reality of this, and I will say this, and I know that we're all in this. We're all, I'm a weirdo. I literally can't do a Zoom. If I'm looking down right now at my feet, I can't do a Zoom meeting unless I have shoes and socks on. I just can't. I have people that I do Zoom meetings with, and they're in pajamas and flip-flops and shorts and t-shirts, and who cares, right? Who cares? We're all working. We're all having these interactions. I get it that you may not be comfortable with it yet. So I have some ideas behind that. If you set up a Zoom account, I'm a big fan of just playing and practicing with things. So set up a Zoom account, send the invite, schedule and send the invite to a family member or a friend. Have a meeting with one or two or three friends so you can practice handing off control and taking back control, sharing your screen, sharing what you want them to see with your screen. Because when you click share, it gives you some options. Do you want to share your browser window only? Do you want to share the entire desktop? Do you just want to share a picture that you have open? So you get some options when you click that share button. And so it's just a matter of gaining familiarity with the product and utilizing it and making it effective and making it work for you, right? So someone says, does a Zoom meeting end for you when you hit the 40-minute mark? Yeah. Yes, it has a little counter down and it's ding, ding, ding. It counts down and says, okay, your meeting's coming to an end. And you guys have probably been on a meeting. I've been on one, and the host was like going, he's looking down. He's like, okay, we got to end here. You guys have a great day, and everyone bye, right? And it's like they're gone. And that's because on your account, it's counting down the time frame on it. So again, it's really, you should be able to utilize an account. And I'm going to show you some of the settings here in just a second that would let you go through and utilize that. So no, you're not limited to any number of meetings. So it has nothing to do with that. Again, if you get your free account, you can schedule as many meetings as you want to. So if you want to schedule 15, 30-minute meetings in a day, go for it. So really, really simple to do. Let me go over and show you one more item here. I'm going to go in here. Let me look at this real quick. Yep. Let's get you over there. Let's actually dig into an account so you guys can see what this looks like. And that way I can show you kind of what's happening on it. Let's get in here. Let me get my account set up. Let me move some of you guys out of the way here with some chats. Okay, we've got the chat window there. Okay, good. So here's what I want to do real quick. I'm going to go to zoom.us. I'm going to log into an account that I have so you guys can see this. Let's go into my account. Sorry, let me get this going here. Let me make sure I'm in the right one. I am not in the right one. So let me log out of this account because that's the account we're on right now. I don't want to make any changes to that. So I'm going to zoom.us. I'm going to sign into the account. I'm going to sign in with the correct email that you set up for your account. So let's go in and do that really quickly. So here you go. As you noticed here, April 12th, they've got some updates. April 7th, April 12th, they let you know that they've got some new features that are going on in here. So they will give you those indications and notifications. When you first come into your account, right, it loads you into meetings, but here's where you're going to go through that profile to set up your profile and make sure that you have it optimized. If you need to change or update your photo, you can go update your photo there. This profile will show you at what level your account is. So this is an additional account that I set up to just show you that this is the free version. It lets me have 100 people in there, right? All this stuff is set up. If you need to change your time zone, you can edit all of these items. But these are pretty much, this is setting up your account right here, okay? So here's a really quick thing that I like to have is you can actually authorize Zoom to be able to schedule meetings on your calendar. So right in the first section in profile, after you've done uploading your photo, you definitely want to go in and link your calendar up with this, okay? So scroll down in here, you'll set up a calendar that you'll want to authorize that. You'll turn these features on and off. By the way, I love this. There's no save button. If you noticed, as you make that change, it automatically saves it in your account on the system. So they've made this very simple and very seamless. So a couple things. When you set up your account, authorize it if you're using a client. Here, let me go in and do this. I'll just delete this very quickly. And I will show you setting up a new. I'm going to connect it to a calendar. It gives you the option of connecting it with a Google Calendar, an Exchange calendar, or an Office 365 calendar. I'm just going to use this, right? It's asking me which account I want to use. Okay, I do that. I allow it. And now that calendar is in there. Once that calendar is in there, I can also let it sync my Zoom account with my contacts. So quick note, if you are storing your contacts in your Exchange Outlook or your Office 365, it will allow the Zoom meeting to send invites and interact with your client's calendar if they're a user, okay? The same goes for Gmail. If you're a Gmail user and you have your contacts on your phone and they are, they're on your device and you're using Gmail as your contact storage on here, again, the same thing, make sure these are turned on, okay? So let's go down and look at some of the good stuff here that they have in meetings for free. Hang on one second. Let me see if I've got a question. Is there a way to adjust time of meeting on Zoom? Yeah, they're pretty much the half hours is what they're just trying to make that easy. So they're trying to just have it be in blocks. I don't know what you're looking for, but again, make it for the maximum, make it for 40 minutes, make it for 30 minutes, whatever. just let the meeting run long. Their calendar, when you schedule the meeting, it doesn't shut the meeting off at the 30-minute mark. Okay. If you schedule a meeting for today from 11 o'clock to 11:30, and you want to run that meeting from 11 o'clock and you really want to run it to 11:40, it doesn't shut it off at 11:30 if you schedule it for a half an hour. Okay. So real simple way to do that. Someone says, hang on, schedule in advance, instant meeting. Yeah, instant meetings that just launches the meeting now, and then you send the invite out to someone right then if you want to schedule a meeting. Okay. Let's go down and look in here real quick on your meeting schedule. So again, if you want to schedule a new meeting, you can come in here, you name the meeting what you want to name it. Sorry, Janice, I'll get your, oh, let's get this capitalized there. Right? We can describe what we want to describe it for. Now I can come down, I can say, well, I want to have that today. Actually, I'm going to have that on Saturday. There we go. We're going to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's do that. Make that really easy, 10 a.m. Duration, again, I'm going to make this 0 because my schedule only allows me to have a 40-minute time limit. Okay, so I'm going to schedule this. I'm going to schedule it for 30 minutes. It already has my Pacific time zone in there. I can generate a new meeting ID, or I can just use the one that they assign me. So when you guys are logging in here, I'm just using the one that is assigned to mine. That way it just stays the same and everyone can come into the same meetings. I'm just doing that for ease of use. If you want to be more secure, do this, generate one automatically. Okay, you can set it to have video on for you, video on for your participant. Okay, you can set the audio to be telephone, computer, or both. Again, to make this easy, I just set everyone's video on. I set the audio to be whichever one they want to do it from. If you notice, and these are important settings, if you go ahead and change these meeting settings and you go to save that, right? You can set it up to record the meeting automatically. So I don't really want anyone to join before me, and here's why. If they join a meeting, my ticker starts ticking. Okay, so if you're going to do the free version of this, click Enable Waiting Room. Don't uncheck Enable Join Before Host. Here, I apologize. Let me get my pointer up here. So make sure this is not checked. Right? I don't want anybody to I want them to do just like you guys did today. When you showed up, you were in my waiting room. You were waiting for me, the host, to start the meeting. When I start the meeting, that's when the ticker starts. So if I start the meeting at 10 o'clock, if you have a 40-minute free account and you scheduled to have a meeting with someone and you started at 10, you can go to 10:40. If you enabled them to join before you and they got there 9 minutes early and started the meeting, and you come in at 10, you're out at 10:30, basically. 10:31, you're done. So the goal is to set this up so that you get the most benefit from your account. At that point, you can go in and say, okay, great, I'm saving that meeting. Okay? So Janice, I just scheduled a meeting for us on Saturday, okay? Okay. So let's kind of go through, that's in the meeting section, okay? Let's go back over here to webinars. Webinars is not something that you're going to be using. It's a different function. A webinar is a different product in the system. So let's go down here and just look at a couple of these things. Recordings. Okay. Cloud recordings are local recordings. Cloud recording uploads the meeting into cloud storage. Local recordings, you would just choose to select your device. Your recording is basically just going to go on your computer or your phone. Here's some advice for you. You have very limited space in here on the free account. Okay, so you don't have a ton of storage space. So a couple things. If you're going to record video and you're using a mobile device, okay, it doesn't matter, iPhone, Android phone, doesn't matter. Most of these have limited storage. If you record to your device and you're using a tablet or this, and you don't have cloud storage built into your device that's an upgraded, you're going to run through your storage very quickly. So I would be very judicious with how I set up my recordings if you're going to be recording all these. You may not need to record every meeting, you can. So someone asked, if you want to record the meeting, do you need the participants' approval? Nope. No, because you didn't ambush them. You sent them an invite. They accepted your invite. So, I mean, they'll see that it's being recorded. They could leave if they wanted to, but no, you do not need their permission to record it. Okay. That's like, I'm going to use this analogy. It's like an 800 number. If you have an 800 number and someone calls your 800 number, they cannot block their number from using caller ID blocking from your number. They called your number. You get their number. Okay. So it's the same way. You sent them the invite to join your Zoom meeting. It's your meeting. They joined your meeting. They accepted your participation in the meeting. So yes, by the way, so just to let you know, that's a setting that I enabled, right? As a participant, I needed permission to record. So that's a setting. Let's go look at those right now. So again, if I can say this, I'll just be really brief. Record to your device if you can, and don't make sure it's not your phone or you'll burn through a ton of storage on here. Again, they give you a little sliver of space in their account, but it's not very much. So you'll need to add more if you needed to do that. Let's go down and look into settings now on your account. So these are the standard settings. By the way, as you launch your account now, Zoom has gotten very smart. Again, I like easy. So what they're doing now is okay, someone posted something else. Do you need internet to do an open house Zoom? Yes. So Zoom requires internet. You have to have the internet from that, okay? Someone else said, can participants invite others to the meeting? So that's in settings. Yes, you can give someone an open link and anybody that clicks on that link can join. But there are some settings in here that I'm going to show you in a minute where you can actually turn on the room, and you create a waiting room, and you have to turn on the admitting. So I'm choosing to admit you guys as you come into the meeting. Okay, a little window pops up and it says someone is asking to join the meeting. So you can choose to admit or not admit them. You can also remove people from your meeting. Okay. And once the meeting is started, I could go down right now for security purposes and I could lock this meeting. So that's another option that you have is having the ability to lock your meeting. Okay. And I think I have a screenshot of that somewhere. Let me go find it in a minute, but I'll show you that. Unfortunately, I can't show you on my tools because my Zoom's tools are hidden from you guys. So even if I'm trying to show you here, you can't see it. What I had to do is I had to actually go in and do a screenshot so you can see where to do that. Okay. So let's kind of run through these items real quick here. If it's a real estate meeting, can you invite someone who is not a realtor? Absolutely. Yeah, you get to choose, you get total control over who shows up at your meeting. Okay. I mean, if you send the invite out it doesn't matter. If you send the invite out to anybody, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, that was one of those ideas that I rolled by you. You might schedule a meeting with yourself, your buyer, and their lender. You might have a meeting with yourself, your seller, and the serviceman that's going to be doing the repair work on a house before it sells, right? It might be a landscaper. It might be someone that's doing some repairs that are called for. It might be someone doing some prep in the front end before they even list their house. So there's a whole bunch of opportunities here for the information. Someone says for their education of the subject as a participant, Are you talking about for my meetings, Linda? Like someone else? Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, I'm not, you know, and there's a ton out there, honestly. I just had a fun conversation with my wife the other day. We were talking about how she did something. She's a teacher. She's using Google Meet, which is because they're all using Google Classroom. And she said, well, I learned a valuable lesson from my stepson, Sean. She says, just Google it and you can find this stuff on YouTube. Like there's a class for everything on YouTube. And yep, that is exactly true. So yeah, you can definitely do office meetings, real estate office meetings, everything on stuff like this. So yes to all those, Linda. Okay, let me keep moving through here real quick. So here's the basic settings in here. We're going to go through these, okay? So schedule a meeting, okay? Host video. I think this is by default on, but these are the settings that I would set it up if I was a realtor. Participants video on. Audio type, again, telephone and computer audio on. Join before host. My advice, turn this off, okay? Use personal ID when scheduling a meeting. Turn that on. I think by default that is on, okay? Use personal ID when starting an instant meeting. So by the way, if I utilize this, it's going to tell me that I need to set up a password, okay? So I need a password for instant meetings if I turn this on. Okay, I'm going to leave it off. Okay, only authenticated users can join the meeting from a web client. Okay, so this by default is on now, but you can turn it off. But what that does, the authentication is that's someone that has created a Zoom account or has downloaded the browser, filled in their information prior to joining a meeting. So you guys had to fill in a name in order to join the meeting. You couldn't join as an anonymous. Now, granted, you could put whatever you want to in there, but for the most part, we're business people. We're not doing that. So again, I can set it up to require a password to join a new meeting. If you do this, it'll ask you what you want to set the password as when you schedule a meeting. So you could schedule a meeting for someone, let's say it was a buyer, you could require a password. And what if you just used the street numbers for the property or the street name for the property as your password? That would be an easy way to set up a password if you were really worried about security on this. Okay. Again, require a password for instant meetings, the same thing. You set that up. Okay. Here you go. So require a password for personal meeting ID. All meetings using a personal meeting ID, right? And the password that I set up was just my name, Eric. You can edit this to set it up to be whatever you want it to be for your personal meeting ID. Okay. If you notice, embed the password in the meeting link for one-click join. I just turned that on because I'm trying to make this easy for you guys to get in. Again, as long as you're following very normal cybersecurity guidelines, I don't think you need to be too worried about security. There are people that are now coming into some meetings. I guess they have nothing better to do than come into meetings and try and write stuff and do a bunch of other stuff. I don't know if you guys have actually been on a meeting that has had that happen. It's very easy to remove those people from the meeting, kick them out. You can, there's a setting in here that you can kick someone out and they can't get back in. So it won't even let them back in. So there's a lot of controls on stuff like that. Okay. Embed the password. Again, I'm making this easy. So I just embedded the password. When you click the one click, the password was already in the link there. Okay. I do like the idea of requiring a password for participants joining by phone. I think that's a smart way to do things. It just keeps people from being able to crash in on a phone call on your meeting. So I like the idea of including, they do have to have the password for that. If you noticed when you came in, you were muted, you can mute or unmute your clients when they join the meeting. I always just have people muted and I would unmute them. For your case, if you're mostly doing one-on-one meetings, my suggestion is I would turn that on. That way, right when your clients join, and their audio system connects on the back end, you'll be able to see, or they'll be able to actually converse with you right away without having to find out where the controls are to mute or unmute themselves. Okay. So mute participants upon entry. For your instance, I would just turn that to off. Okay. Upcoming meeting reminder. If you're going to send out a reminder to them in the notification, I would leave that on. Require encryption for third-party endpoints. Okay. They already have their stuff built into their system. As long as you're not using a third-party software platform, you don't need to worry about having encryption for that. Again, you guys can choose whether to choose to turn on chat. I would suggest turning on chat. It just makes it easier. If you want to have your clients privately chat with each other in a meeting like this, like you guys, if you go down, you can actually see who you're going to chat to in the chat window, and you could have a conversation between multiple of you guys right now. For most of your instances, you're not going to need to worry about that because you're going to be probably dealing one-on-one with most clients anyways. Okay. Again, auto saving chat. You can set this so that it auto saves your chats when you turn this stuff on. Chat is off or BA security is on, or prevent participants for saving chat is on. Okay, so I already had that set to not allow you guys to save chats, right? So here you go. Play a sound when participants join. Again, this is just personal preference. Heard by the host only. That way you guys only hear a sound as the host, or you can make it so everybody knows when someone is joining or leaving. Okay. I love this, and you guys definitely should turn this on. When someone joins a meeting via phone and they're using the phone audio, you can actually set this up by checking this box. You can actually allow it so it forces them to record who they are, which plays on entry. Okay, I like that. File transfer, again, for your instance, if you're having a client transfer file, you can set that up and just leave that on. These last two items right here, feedback to Zoom. If you want to have a survey at the end, I just turn that stuff off. Okay. Display end of meeting experience feedback survey. I would leave that off. By default, the Zoom meeting control bar is on. I would always leave that on. You want your clients to be able to control and share their screen and do different things. Okay. Again, this is your choice though. Screen sharing, leave that on, all participants. By default, this is checked host only. I would leave that alone. If you guys took a screen, if you guys started sharing right now, right, this button allows me to be the only person that can take back control of that. So you can't have more hosts. As a matter of fact, right now, someone try and share their screen, or all of you guys, if you want to, go ahead and click the share screen button, and you'll see you can't take the screen share from me as the host. I have to stop sharing, and then you can share. So that just gives you control over your meeting and allows you to have create a better experience for your users. Okay. Let's come in and note a couple of things. If you want your clients to be able to use annotation on a meeting, annotation, by the way, if you notice on the screen right now, this little red dot that's going here, that's me with a pointer on as an annotation device. If you want to allow that for your clients, you can leave that on. If you're worried about security, okay, and you're worried about someone else getting into a meeting, I would just turn this off. That way you guys can't draw on my screen. You couldn't, right? You can't go change those settings on there. Okay. Remote control. I'm going to leave this one alone here real quick. Kind of really, if you want to get complicated, I can run your computer through remote control on your device. So if you were having a one-on-one and you wanted to point something out on your client's computer, you can request remote control. It will allow them to allow you access to their computer, and you can then use their mouse and your keyboard as a mouse and a keyboard on their device. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's kind of next level on stuff. And I can't imagine you needing to control one of your client's keyboards. So again, this option right here, allow removed participants to rejoin. So this is up to you. I have that set up on mine so that if you accidentally got removed and you wanted to rejoin, you could click on the link. You'll show up in my waiting room and I can admit you again. Okay. So I think that's an important setting on there. It's a great way to have that in there. Okay. Allow participants to rename themselves. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to turn that on, you certainly can. And now in your window, you could go rename who you were. But most of your clients, you're going to know anyways. So again, show participants profile pictures. A lot of this stuff is set up as default. I'm just trying to give you guys as much information to better your account for use yourself. Okay, let's kind of keep running through these. A lot of you guys like I skipped whiteboard. Okay, whiteboard is just simply the ability to have a meeting, a board that you can write or draw on. It's just like a whiteboard in a conference. So let me come back up here. So you can share a whiteboard during a meeting. So someone could open up a whiteboard and have a writing or drawing or something that they needed to put on that whiteboard. You can allow that or unallow that, if that answered your question. Have you ever been in a meeting, right? And someone goes up with a dry erase marker and they say, okay, now we're going to talk about this. And today's meeting is about money and right. And we're going to do this. And here's what we want to talk about first. That's a whiteboard. So same type of thing. Okay. Hopefully that answered the question, Kathy. Okay. Keep moving. Let's keep zipping down here. Where did I get? Because I kind of got off. Okay. Give host the option to report participants to Zoom. I guess you can. This isn't actually. This looks like it's new. I don't remember seeing this, so I think they just added this in. Yes, this is a new update here. Now you've got a tattle bar on here that you can report people as inappropriately using Zoom. Go figure. So that actually just popped up here. That's a brand new thing. Breakout rooms, remote support, closed captioning. You won't really need any of this stuff. Far end camera control. Boy, there's a scary thought. Like, I want to control your guys' cameras in your meetings, right? Let's come back and look at virtual background. Again, you can choose to turn this on or off if you want to. A lot of people like the whole virtual background thing. You guys see my office. I just like the regular, I like the regular real thing. And to me, it's more real and just seems more authentic. So that's just a personal preference thing. Okay. Looks like they've added some other things. Identify guest participants in a meeting webinar. So this is a new feature as well. Participants who belong to your account can see that a guest is participating in the meeting. So you guys can apparently look around and say, hey, there's Jimmy's not supposed to be here. Let's kick Jimmy out. Okay. So that's a new feature as well. Here, I'll turn, well, that's not on the right account. So that's a new feature as well. Anything that you see here with a V in here is a brand new feature that they've added in. Okay, so it looks like they've added quite a bit of options here. Use HTML format. If you're going to be sending invites out, it's just nice to have the HTML format on the invite. So I would definitely turn that on. Okay, here's your waiting room. So we did have people asking on the last class that I did about waiting rooms. So again, set up your waiting room, turn that on. That allows people to sit in a holding room before you launch the meeting. Okay. Also, you can show a join your browser link in your browser window. I like that as well. I would leave that on. I think it's on by default, but I would always leave that in there. Okay. Here's a couple of other items. If you do have a waiting room and you turn these two next options on here in email notification, you will see that you'll get a notification that your client is in the waiting room waiting for you to start the meeting. So if you wanted to start it early, you could, okay? Also the same thing for email notification if you cancel a meeting. Okay. There is a couple of different options here in the invitation email. I've never really played with that, but I'm assuming we're all speaking English. If you wanted to have one in another language, you could certainly choose a different language that you wanted to have as the main email. Just keep this in mind and remember this. When you make these changes in your account, by default, it will save that as your default settings for the next meeting that you do. So if you do change a language, make sure and go back into your settings when you're done and change it back. Okay. So that's actually a pretty important component on there. Okay. So we've run through all the options in here. Let me go back up to the top there for the settings. They do have the recording settings. So again, here's in recording now. That was the meeting. Here's the recording settings. Again, you can go in and turn on automatic recording. I have mine set up to do local recording. I can give you the ability. So someone asked earlier, I think it was Linda. Yeah, Linda, you asked if you can record. In your settings on the recording tab, you can go in and turn the ability on or off to let a user record your session. Okay, that's going to be on your discretion. Okay, that's where you do that local recording, and you give participants the permission to record it locally. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, automatic recording. Again, if you want to turn this on, every meeting that you do will automatically record. Okay, and because you turn this on, it automatically records on the computer. Okay, now someone asked earlier if you want to show a disclaimer to participants before recording starts. There's where you turn that on. Okay, let's come back up here and look at telephone very quickly. So I had a conversation with the sales manager at WFG National Title, and I think we need to go in and look at his settings because he said he was having trouble having people utilize phones, or he was having trouble having people set up on phones. So show international numbers, link on the email invitation. You can choose to turn that on. If you notice my invitations, if you've ever gotten one, has a bunch of international numbers in there. You're probably going to only be doing business locally. I would just turn that off. Okay. Mass phone number in the participants list. Again, you can choose to turn that on or off to allow those. Okay. And that's for your settings in here. Let me go down a little bit further in the meeting. So that's, again, we're on our personal profile. We're a little bit over, so I'm going to try and wrap it up here pretty quickly. Let me go down here to not user management. Is that it? Nope, that wasn't it either. Hang on one second. I got the wrong spot here. Yes, okay, account profile. Okay, so in your account profile, it's also in your profile, but if you needed to change your account type, this will show what if you're concerned about your account type that you have, this is where you'd come down. So under admin, account management, account profile, that's where you're going to see your additional settings. Okay. So that's really, in a nutshell, that's really setting up the account with the correct settings so that you can control your meeting at a